future of trade aid is still unknown. The latest on USDA's plans for the third round of payments for farmers, weathering trade disputes. We go live behind the scenes at the Rose Bowl parade to see how your favorite floats are made and designed. Plus, meet the pilots who will bring the spirit of America to Pasadena with a special patriotic presentation. Good morning and thanks for watching Market Day Report. I'm Corinne LaRue. Farmers are still waiting to hear if USDA will approve a third round of Market Facilitation Program payments. The department says a decision will be made shortly, and if authorized, checks would start going out in January. The program was funded with $14.5 billion for 2019. And as of last week, USDA has paid $10.7 billion in MFP payments to farmers, with Iowa, Illinois, and Texas receiving the most funding. MFP payments have more than offset trade losses, but University of Illinois economist Nick Paulson says the payments may not be enough to make up for lost trade markets. According to Brownfield Ag News, he says the impact of the policy will not be fully known until a trade deal is reached and export markets rebound. He also says the payments could be a red flag for the World Trade Organization, which governs fair trade. Closer to home, he says the uncertainty of MFP payments makes business decisions and cash flow planning more difficult for farmers and lenders. In years with tough weather and low commodity prices, farmers rely on government payments to keep farms running, but payments can also cover conservation and innovation efforts. USDA's Rod Bain has a breakdown of some of the most popular programs. For more information about government programs, including trade aid, conservation resources, and commodity programs, visit farmers.gov. In a press release, USDA reviews its own farm programs, including risk management, conservation, and lending. In 2019, the Risk Management Agency paid $4.2 billion in prevented planning claims from flooding. Other disaster aid included $1 billion of funding in the 2018 Farm Bill for natural disasters. The agency also rolled out new customer service tools such as a farm loan discovery tool and other web services to help producers view their loan information more efficiently. USDA says government programs help farmers in challenging years, and Undersecretary Bill Northey says, "I am very proud of all we've done to ease some of the financial strain farmers, ranchers, and their families have experienced. In 2020, we don't plan to slow down. We will continue to do our part to meet Secretary Sonny Perdue's goal of better serving our customers and improving the efficiency and effectiveness of program delivery." Dairy markets see a downturn after showing improvement, and experts say cheese may be one of the drivers of the recent price decrease. Market advisors say the January futures contract for dairy has dropped almost $2 off the high prices, and lack of stability in the cheese market may be the cause. The National Institute for Animal Agriculture's 9th Annual Antibiotic Symposium will be held October 15th to the 17th at Iowa State University. Meteorologist Tim Ross has your forecast at 10 after the hour.
And in the hogs, we're down 70 cents on the February, and April's down 53, Corinne, so there's where we stand.
Perfect. Sounds good. The Rose Parade is back on RFD-TV with limited commercial interruption thanks to our sponsor, Dish Network. Before tomorrow's parade begins, we want to give you a preview of one of our favorite parts, the flyover, and those who pilot the United States Air Force's B-2 Spirit of America. Take a look. The B-2 is the nation's sole stealth bomber, able to execute strategic nuclear operations and lethal global strike anytime, anywhere. Be sure to catch it tomorrow morning during our Rose Parade broadcast. Our schedule starts at 8:30 a.m. Eastern, New Year's Day, with the Tournament of Roses, Equifest. Our Rose Parade pre-show starts at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. The 131st Rose Parade, presented by Honda, begins at 11 a.m. Eastern. And if you miss it the first time, catch an encore at 1 p.m. immediately following the first airing. When droughts arise, they not only affect the land, but also the livestock living on it. A hidden farm camera films unexpected visitors dropping in for a drink. An Australian farmer sets up a watering source on the national park so the wildlife had a way to quench their thirst. He caught this on video, and with footage of some crazy kinds of animals over here, kangaroos, birds, and whoa, interesting. Thank you, Whoa, Interesting, on Twitter for providing the video. If you have any photos or videos, share them with official RFD-TV on social media or email them to newsdesk@rfdtv.com. And if you want RFD-TV to stay in your Facebook news feed, head to our page to follow us, then click See First. All right, those are some crazy kind of animals, huh?
They were.
Good morning and thanks for watching Market Day Report. I'm Corinne LaRue. In today's AgriCensus International News Minute, continuing to dip into reserves. China plans to release another 40,000 tons of pork ahead of the new year. So far, the government has sold more than 100,000 tons of frozen reserves. African swine fever is depleting supplies and forcing prices higher. Hundreds of Argentine farmers took their tractors to the streets and highways in protest of higher export taxes on grain. The newly elected government implemented a policy to raise export taxes, 30% on soybeans and 12% on corn and wheat. Farmers say it will lower profits and plan to protest. To illustrate the importance of grain exports in Argentina, a new study found grain sales jumped 17% in 2019. Analysts say with an ongoing recession, increasing inflation, and a weak currency, grain exports are one of the main drivers behind the Argentine economy. For more information about how you can obtain the latest international agricultural news, visit agricensus.com. The bison industry pushes for legislation in food labeling transparency, highlighting the negative impact product misrepresentation is having on producer profit margins. Joining us now is Executive Director of the National Bison Association, Dave Carter. Thanks for joining us, Dave. Let's start out with some background on issues you're seeing in the industry when it comes to food labeling.
Well, good morning, Corinne, and thanks for having me on. Yes, we've been bison ranchers have been working for, 2 decades to build a relationship with our customers that's based on the quality of our product and the integrity behind it, how that animal is raised. And our market has been growing over the last several years. Our producers have been very profitable. But over the last couple of years, we have seen some water buffalo products coming into our market in both human food and pet food products, just simply labeled as buffalo. And in fact, a lot of the labeling is done in a way to make the consumer believe that what they're buying is American bison. And this is very deceptive. And so fortunately, Senators John Hoeven from North Dakota and Michael Bennett from Colorado got together and introduced the Truth in Buffalo Labeling Act here recently, and we're going to be pushing next year to get that into some hearings and move it forward in Congress. There's a companion piece of legislation that Representative Ed Perlmutter is introducing in the House. So we're hoping we can get this addressed because it's a big, big problem, a big threat to our producers.
And what impact is this having on bison producers?
Well, it's causing some drops in our prices because one of the things every rancher knows is that you have to sell the whole animal to make a living. And we have been so fortunate over the last several years that not only are people discovering that ground bison is pretty darn tasty, and some chefs are putting some tenderloins and ribeyes on the menu, but we're seeing a lot of other products. And the pet food industry has been a real partner in helping us build demand for bison because bison has got to be a popular premium ingredient, and it's really added some value for the animals. But boy, now that we've got some companies that are coming in and using water buffalo and putting it in the product in a way that makes people think that it's bison, it's had a real detrimental effect. So the legislation is going to be a big help. We're also working with pet food regulators specifically on that side, and we're partnering with some pet food companies that are doing what we call the right thing. Folks like Merrick Pet Food that are doing their bison beef and sweet potato formula, and Blue Buffalo that's got a bison formula, and trying to inform the public that, make sure that if you're in the market and you're buying something that says buffalo, make sure that it's getting something that you and I and everybody else in this country feels is the buffalo, and that's the American bison.
Executive Director of the National Bison Association, Dave Carter, thank you for joining us. The year-and-a-half-long Chinese outbreak of African swine fever prompts the country to change the way they raise hogs. A state initiated investment of more than $7 billion will align large hog farms with smaller family-owned farms involving 33,000 rural families. The Chinese government is encouraging big hog farming operations to either purchase stock in or lease the smaller rural farms as quickly as possible. Reuters says 15 large farms have already signed almost 20 agreements, which the Agriculture Ministry hopes will be part of producing more than 22 million hogs each year. China's hog population was once the largest in the world, but almost 40% of the herds have been lost in the last year and a half due to ASF. Russia puts a halt on Chinese citrus imports starting January 6th. The country's ag safety watchdog found several shipments containing pests during the month of December. Reuters reports the actions taken thus far have not been effective at eradicating the pests and the import ban will remain until the Russian safety requirements are met. Tractors aren't only for field work. Motor enthusiasts also use their heft for sport. Tractor pulling features some truly impressive multi-engined machines. Greg Randall with the National Tractor Puller Association gives us a taste in this week's Trick My Tractor. NTPA posts their schedule on their website. Check it out at ntpapoll.com. Meteorologist Tim Ross has your forecast at 40 past the hour.
So it's a lot of weakness all the way across the livestock complex.
All right. Well, it used to be a necessity, but these days canning is often a hobby, and for some it might even be considered an art form. The Georgia Farm Monitor's John Holcomb reports on one woman who's turning canning into a full-time business. To learn more about Bennett's business, just visit her website at lorijoes.com. All right, and do you can any food at all?
I don't, but my grandmother always canned a lot of things, and I can always remember it all tasted great later on, but it was really hot in the kitchen. Yep. I want to look at the dollar before we wrap up also, because we've been watching that today. It's been under quite a bit of pressure, and we're down 360 points at 96.070 right now. That June contract down 340 points. A little bit of weakness over there. So might make us more competitive.
All right. Well, coming up, American hog producers look to take advantage of China's struggling pork demand. In our next half hour, the different ways it could benefit the industry now and later.